Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Christina Thompson. Now, this weekend, we will remember the 2,977 Americans who lost their lives 21 years ago. Our next guest lost his father on 9/11 and is fighting for justice for the families of those who were killed. We're joined now by the president of 9/11 Justice, Bret Eagleson. Bret, first off, I'm so sorry for your loss. I know that your dad stayed behind bravely and decided to help with the evacuation. How do you want him to be remembered?
Well, I think he wouldn't like this, but I think that our family and those that knew him well would like him to be remembered as a hero that day. He had every chance to get out of that building. He did stay behind. We were able to speak with him after both planes had hit, and he told us that he was helping with the evacuation efforts. And we last learned that he was with a colleague, and they were in the lobby of the South Tower, and they were both leaving. My dad had apparently turned around, according to his colleague, and saw the pandemonium and saw the chaos that was ensuing there, and noticed that they were having a very hard time communicating. FDNY and NYPD, one of the lessons we learned from that day, just had a terrible time communicating with each other. So my dad recognized and remembered that back on the 17th floor where his office was, he had a portable box of those two-way radios that his company used to communicate with each other around the towers. And he told his colleague that he was going to go back up to the 17th, grab the radios, make sure that the floor was clear, make sure there's nobody stuck in the stairwell or nobody that needed help along the way. And then he was going to give them to the FDNY, and he himself was going to get out of the building. And that was the last that we heard of his known whereabouts. And we haven't been able really to be sure where he was, how long how far he made it in that journey. Did he ever get the radios? Because at some point when the two of them left, that's when the buildings fell. So it's sort of bittersweet. You have this sense of pride for your father, but also the selfish side of us says, well, why didn't you just walk out the building like most other people that day? And we never did recover his body, and that's one of the reasons that myself and thousands of others were in this similar situation. We have never recovered a body, and we've never received justice. We've never really addressed or talked about the fact that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was 100% behind these attacks. They facilitated and supported the Al-Qaeda network and the Al-Qaeda hijackers that were here in America prior to 9/11.
You kind of touched on my next question. You're looking for accountability. What's the next step there?
Well, we would love for a U.S. government, to play tough with the Saudis. Listen, we now have FBI documents that took 21 years for us to be declassified. We have FBI documents. These aren't my group's words. These aren't my words, my family's words. These are the FBI's own words that say that at least a dozen Saudi government officials, senior and mid-level officials, were charged with assisting the Al-Qaeda hijackers, one of which, Omar el-Bayoumi, was working for Saudi intelligence. That is akin to a CIA operative working somewhere in a place like France or Italy, helping out in a plot that murders Italians or murders French people. There is culpability on behalf of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia because of the level and the number of individuals working for the Saudi government. They were using their embassies in the United States to help and facilitate the hijackers. In fact, the FBI has gone on record. There have been former agents that have gone on record to say, were it not for the Saudi support network, 9/11 would have had a 0% chance of having been a success. And I think it's so important to get that story right. I think the official narrative that America and the world has heard for the last 21 years is that 19 hijackers with no knowledge of English, no money, no knowledge of Western culture, no idea how to fly a plane, were somehow able to band together and pull off the most devastating and consequential attack in U.S. history with no help from anyone.
Right.
Well, they did have help, and we're finding out now, 21 years later, that help came in the form of support from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Right. Well, Bret Eagleson, thank you so much for all that you're doing. Again, I'm so sorry about your father. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family, especially this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
There is plenty